Well, shooters and reloaders out there, Fortune Cookie 45 LC coming to the hot lead zone, and today's video is about the Forster inline bullet seating die and the adjustment of it for your presses. So here I've got a couple of Forster inline bullet seating dies with the micrometer adjustments, and these aren't that expensive in relation to what you get. Now I've got one here in 223 and one in 308. And the 308 one is the one that we're using currently for our Savage Model 1100 VT 308 project. But I've also got another one here that's made for the 30-06. And there it is right there. When you buy the die, it comes in this Forster box, but the thing is, they might be using different packaging now than when I bought these. So let's go ahead and talk about this die. Now this die is all about low runout. You're going to talk about getting runout of 1/1000th or less if you load your bullets with this die. And the way it does that is it has a spring-loaded sleeve that keeps the case and the bullet in perfect alignment as you're seating the bullet. And the micrometer adjustment allows you to make precision adjustments that are very accurate in what you want in your seating depth. And it has a stem here that allows you to get the rough adjustment before you start making the micrometer adjustments. Now what I like to do that the instructions really don't go into, and that is to set up the Forster die lock ring or whatever die lock ring you're using. Set it up so that the screw here that tightens the die lock ring is perfectly aligned with the vernier scale that's on the micrometer. That way when you put it into your press, you know exactly where your vernier scale is. And that doesn't matter whether you're using a regular press like an RCBS Rock Chucker or a Redding Big Boss, or whether you're using a Lee custom cast press, doesn't matter. You'll know where the vernier is when you have the screw in line with the vernier. Now you want to set the die lock ring so that when the press is at maximum stroke, you're compressing this sleeve about halfway. And that's the adjustment. Go ahead and tighten it for that. So let me show you how that looks on the coax press. So here's the Forster coax press, and the die installs very easily in the channel that you have here. So by setting it up this way with the screws for the Forster die lock ring right out here facing the outside, you slip it in, and that allows the Forster die lock ring to have maximum play in that channel. At the same time, your vernier is facing straight out for you to have easy view of it. Now notice when you stroke the press that indeed you're compressing that sleeve about halfway. Perfect. Now I've already got the ladder system loaded there in the background, but for the purpose of this video I'm going to do another loading of 44.4 grains of 4064 powder, and I'm going to put it into the Remington Peters brass, so we'll have an extra round of that part of the ladder. So as you can see, there's balanced 505 RCBS scale right at 44.4 grains. And something that's very good to do every once in a while, the Hornady automatic powder dispenser has a calibration mechanism to get the powder charges correct. But it never hurts to verify to another scale, and you see the Hornady is reading that at 44.3, which is 1/10 of a grain off. That's plenty accurate enough for both systems. They agree. Now it's important to note that the die comes with instructions, but the instructions are not very clear on the best use of this die. You more or less have to learn how to use it on your own as you get experience with it. So I'm sharing that with you, and of course you can have your own experiences and probably have some better ideas on how to use a die also. But here's what I found works really well, and you can take this information and use it as a beginning point for your own use if you decide to get one of these dies. So let's pretend that here now you've got this die in the press, but you haven't done any seating with it yet. So what we've done here is we've cranked the micrometer until the vernier reads 0, 0. So it's 0 on the vernier and it's 0 on the micrometer sleeve. So we've got it perfectly zeroed. Now with the stem backed out, we can go ahead and put in a case and bullet, the powder charge case and bullet. So here we go. There's the bullet and the case. We go ahead and guide that in and feel for any contact with the, now there's the compression of the sleeve, and there's a little bit of bullet seating. That's fine, a little bit of bullet seating. So we've got a little bit right there. Now let's look at that and see what we have. That is way too long. We'll crank this stem down. And then run it in again. Now we can go ahead and measure this and see what we have. So we want to go by trial and error by adjusting this stem until we get it to the distance that the bullet will touch the lens of our rifle that we're using this die for. So let's go ahead and try that. We'll give it a little more of adjustment here. We're at 2.816, so we're still way long of 2.764. We'll go ahead and make the change off camera. There you see the 2.764, and now we go ahead and lock that seating stem on top of the die. So we went ahead and locked this lock nut on top of the die here. So now this die is set for the 168 grain Sierra hollow point boat tail match bullet for that rifle right to the lens. And if we want to change that to have it off the lens by 1,000s, 2,000s, 3,000s, 6,000s, it's easy to go ahead and use this scale here to make that change, and it's instant, plus very accurate. Now the beauty of this is if you have other bullets that you're loading, then you simply go ahead and use this same setting, but you'll have a compensation factor for the ogive to the new bullet, and you just record that. So for instance, suppose you're looking at plus 11 for a nozzler bullet, then you simply have that logged, and then when you want to load the nozzler bullet to touch the lens, you just go to plus 11 and then make your precision changes, adjustments from there. So that works real well. But here's the reason why we like that die, and that is low runout. Put that same round into the runout gauge and you'll see that that movement of that needle deflection is way less than 1,000ths. It's like at 5/10,000ths. And that's the way every round is when you use that die. Very impressive piece of equipment. Now, a very important feature of the coax press and also the Forster die, the Forster die lock ring, is that you hear that slop there? That's a unique feature of the coax press. What happens is, as the case runs in, the shell holder on the bottom, which is universal, goes ahead and allows centering. It self-centers to this because of the fact that that moves a little bit. So that's a real good feature for giving us the best concentricity that we can have, along with this die delivers the goods.